Hello everyone, and welcome back to our final Best of 2019 Tennis Gear series videos, where today we will be talking about tennis shoes. As I've mentioned in the previous two videos, both with grips and with strings, this is a very subjective thing, okay? This is just based on my experience, and also I haven't tried everything. So especially with tennis shoes, I haven't actually worn a pair of Asics tennis shoes, New Balance tennis shoes, Barbell tennis shoes. I haven't worn any of those in the last like 3 or 4 years, so I'm not going to count those in this video. Okay, so there's definitely tennis shoes that are out there that I feel like could probably eclipse at least one of the shoes on this list. But for me, it's mostly been Nike and Adidas, and that's been true for the last few years. So I wanted to just qualify that here. If you have a favorite tennis shoe that's not mentioned, please leave that down in the comments below and explain why. I'm hoping to, in the next couple months, put up a long list, an article on the site where I just detail my experience with every tennis shoe that I've tried, and that will then help you put this video into context. That being said, all three of these shoes here are great tennis shoes, and I think have an audience out there. Also, for 2019 best of videos, this is just the best of what was available. So not necessarily new releases in 2019. And let's go ahead and get started. All right, number 3 for me, the Adidas Barricade Boost. And right away, we almost got to start with a little bit of a RIP to this shoe, because now in 2020 and towards the end of 2019, they stopped manufacturing this shoe. No idea why. The Barricade has been around for a really long time, and it's always been a great shoe. It's always been a favorite of mine, and they replaced it with like the Sole Court Boost. And I do have a pair of Sole Court Boosts, and I really don't like them. There's something weird about the way the shoe kind of presses down on your foot. I'm sure there's a reason for it, but I just can't wear it. It's an okay shoe just for walking around the house in, stringing tennis rackets in, going out. But for actually playing tennis, I don't really trust that shoe the way that I trust the Barricade Boost. And the only real difference between the Boost and the traditional Barricade, there's a little more padding. Whatever that Boost technology is, that's in this shoe, and it does make it a little bit more comfortable, but at the same time, it still feels like the Barricades, and these are known for being very durable. They are a bit on the heavier side, so I think these are closer to like 16 ounces, whereas the other two shoes on this list I think fall in the 13-ounce range, so it is a bit of a heavier shoe. But if that doesn't bother you, this is a phenomenal shoe. It's something that will last you 6 to 8 months of really heavy-duty, hardcore play, and it is a very stable shoe as well. So it feels nice on the foot, nice snug kind of a fit without being like squeezing the life out of your foot or anything like that. I haven't turned too many ankles in these shoes. I twist my ankle all the time, but very rarely does that happen with this shoe. And the soles themselves are nice. Again, like I said before, it's a very durable tennis shoe, a bit on the heavier side, but it is a shoe you can't go wrong with. For those of you like high school players that are out there grinding away on the hard courts every single day, this shoe you don't have to replace as often as the other two on the list. So Adidas Barricade Boost, rest in peace to this shoe. Hopefully it comes back, but for me, it's definitely number 3 on this list. Moving on to number 2. Okay, this is another classic. This is a shoe many of you guys who are watching have definitely tried, at least in one of its iterations. And unfortunately, I don't have a brand new pair for you. This is a pretty worn-in pair. These are the Air Zoom Vapors, and I believe these are the Vapor 10s. They might be the Vapor 9s. I don't know. It doesn't matter. I have a lot of sets of these, but compared to the Barricade Boost, these ones are going to, kind of get run through a lot quicker, probably in about half the time. That's been my experience using these shoes, and you can see that there's parts of the sole that are already kind of being worn out. A lot of times I'll damage this toe part in the front as well, and that will start to rip. I've had rips happen down here. The shoelaces themselves are a little bit flimsy, and that's one thing I should mention about the Barricade Boost as well. The one thing I don't like about that shoe are the shoelaces. I tear those things up really quick, and I've had to replace the shoelaces on almost every pair of Barricade Boosts that I've had. And they also have, let me just show you this. Apologies, guys, this wasn't the most professional of videos, but there's this little like plasticky or metally thing on the second to last eyelet where the shoelace is coming out. And on all of the shoes, that has broken off and comes up the shoelace on me. So I'm not sure why that's even a part of it, a part of the Barricade Boost, especially for such a durable shoe. That's a big design flaw, at least when I've worn them. But let's go back to the Vapors. Why is this shoe number 2, even though it's not super durable? For me, as a competition tennis shoe, for something that's just great for high performance players when you're playing and you're going your absolute best, this is the best shoe that I've ever worn because you really feel connected to the tennis court. I don't know how they did it. I don't really care how they did it, but it is a shoe that just kind of molds perfectly to the foot and it does exactly what you want it to do for competition. Okay, so while it will wear out relatively quick, I still find to be very stable. It's the right kind of weight for me. It's comfortable enough. It's not a shoe if you're like a tennis instructor that you're gonna wanna be like standing around in for like 8 hours, but for playing 2.5, 3 hours, if that's all you're doing on the tennis court, this shoe will work just fine for you, and I absolutely love it, okay? So for competition, this would be my number 1 choice, especially if maybe you're not playing tons and tons of tennis. If you're playing tons and tons of tennis, that Barricade Boost is gonna be a better solution for you because it's gonna last you longer, okay? But for just raw competition, mostly playing matches, whether those are on hard courts, clay courts, whatever, big fan of the Air Zoom Vapors, and it hasn't really mattered that much to me, you know, Vapor 6, 7, 8, 9, whatever, 10, great shoe. All right, and so last but not least, this is maybe the biggest upset here on the list. Our number 1 tennis shoe is the Nike Air Zoom Vapor, no, Air Zoom Court Zero, Zoom Zero, Nike Court Zoom Zero. Let me figure out the actual name here. I've got a shoebox. Nike Court Air Zoom Zero. You would think I would know my number 1 shoe. This is the shoe that I have now converted over to and use on the day-to-day. Okay, now there are some qualifications to that. I primarily teach tennis, okay? So I'm very rarely out there playing my best, very rare that I'm playing matches, but for having to stand around in a tennis shoe all day, this has been a godsend. I know that New Balance makes some super cushiony shoes as well, but this shoe, I can wear it all day. My feet aren't buzzing at the end of the day like they used to in pretty much any tennis shoe I would wear. I can wear this one 8, 9 hours, be standing up 8, 9 hours, take them off, and my feet still feel good. So for anybody who does have foot issues and like foot fatigue, this would be a shoe I would definitely recommend that you try. It's a versatile shoe. So I can use it to play when I have to play like at a 5-0 level. This shoe will work for that, but it also works for just kind of standing and throwing or feeding balls. The other thing I really love is it has more of that like slip-on kind of feel that like it kind of like grabs your foot. Okay, so a little bit different than some of the other shoes that we have on the list. It has that little lip here. Some people really hate that. I've come to like it and I've come to enjoy it. I don't have the same degree of issue with the shoelaces that I've had on those other two shoes for whatever reason. Again, this one falls closer to the weight of the Vapors. It's in like that 13, 14 ounce range. And the one thing, if I was gonna knock a part of these shoes, is probably the tread itself. That does wear down pretty quickly. So every, again, like 4 or 5 months, I'm changing these out. I've probably gone through 6 or 7 pairs of these in the year, but I have to say, for a tennis shoe, this is the most versatile thing out there on the market right now, and I absolutely love it. Okay, I've tried a lot of different tennis shoes in the past. This has been the one with the staying power. I have a bunch of new sets just sitting upstairs right now. So yeah, for me, 2019, a bit of an upset, a new shoe. I was never expecting this to happen, but yeah, the Air Zoom Zero, that would be the #1 tennis shoe for me in 2019. There's lots of new shoes coming out in 2020. Hopefully I'll get a chance to try some of those, and we'll see if this list has to be altered around this time next year. Thank you for watching, and take care.